this video, we'll take a look at how you can build UX components with lists that display hierarchical data. So you can see that we have a UX component running over here in the browser, and we have a list of customers, and then underneath that we have a list of orders for the customer that currently has focus, and then underneath that we have a list of order details for the order that has focus. So you can see that as we click on a different customer here, the orders for that customer are shown. So you can see that as we go around there, basically we're selecting the different customers and seeing their orders, and then as we click on different orders, we're basically seeing different order details for the selected order. But what I'm going to do now is actually turn on Firebug so that we can actually see the Ajax callbacks that are taking place. So I'm going to go there now, and now what you can see is that when I click on a different customer, you can see we're populating the orders for that customer. So I'm going to click on Bergs, and now we see the order for Bergs. And now if I click on, say, a particular order there, I see the order details for that customer. But you can see by watching the Firebug console here that there's no Ajax callbacks taking place. And the reason that there's no Ajax callbacks taking place is that all of the data has been prefetched and is being stored in the parent list. So if I go, for example, to any particular row here and say click the debug button to show the data that is actually stored in that row, and scroll down now to see what's in that row, I can see here that this is the JSON representation of the data in the first row of the list. So you can see here's basically the data from the customer table. We've got the company name and the city and then the company, and then embedded in this data we have a list of the orders. So here are the orders. So there's the first order, and then the second order, etc. And then embedded inside each order we have the order details. So there's the first order record and there's the second order record. So the parent record contains all of the data for itself and also its child lists. So this is showing you here that when we go from one parent to the next, there's no Ajax callback required. All of the data has already been prefetched and is in the parent list. So let's go now back to the builder and see how this was configured. So go back to design mode. So here's our first list, the customer list. That's the topmost parent list. And then we can go to orders, and if we open up the builder here, we'll see that we've specified that the order list has a parent. Its parent is the customer list, that we'd like to preload the data. So that means that all of the data for the orders are prefetched and are stored in the customer list, and that we're linking on the customer ID, and also the parent list is linked on customer ID and the child list is linked on the customer ID. So these are the fields that are common to the two lists. Then if we go down to the next list, order details, we can see that that's also been configured to have a parent list, and that the parent list ID in this case is the orders list, and that the common field is order ID. So now let's go ahead now and run this again. So we'll go ahead and run it in the browser now and show what happens when we start doing edits to the data. So let's go over there now, click on a customer, click on an order, and then scroll down and click on, say, an order detail. And now I'm going to pause this and pick this up in the next video. So we're continuing our video now, showing how you can work with hierarchical data. And what we have on in our UX component here are three lists: a customer list, then an orders list showing all of the orders for the selected customer, and then underneath that an order detail list showing all of the order details for a selected order. So now I'm going to go to one of these orders over there and change the unit price from 12 to, say, 5. So I'm changing the price to 5 over there, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit the save button to save the data. So at this point the data has been saved but not yet synchronized. So you can see that this record now is marked as dirty. Its parent record is also now marked as dirty inherited. So you can see that this is now a lighter shade of orange, indicating that this row is not dirty, but one of its children is dirty. And then if we scroll up further, we can see that this is also a light shade of orange, indicating that the customer itself is not dirty, but one of its children is dirty. And then if we go ahead now and look inside the data that is stored in this list over here. I'm going to go ahead now and say show data right now. To show the data that's in this list, I'll be able to see that for the order detail that we edited, so this order detail here where we changed the quantity, we'll be able to see that we have stored in it the old data. So you can see for this particular order we have the old quantity and the new quantity. So the unit price was changed from 12 to 5. So there's basically the data that is stored in the list row. This is the JSON representation of the data, and this is showing me here that basically this particular order detail is dirty, whereas for example other order details have not been edited. So this one here is not dirty, it hasn't been edited, etc. Then when we go ahead and we synchronize, we'll see that only when we go ahead now and hit the synchronize button, I'm going to go turn Firebug on so we can see what happens when we hit the synchronize button. So now we've synchronized, and we can see that this row is no longer marked as dirty, neither is this row, and neither is this row, because the data was synchronized. But when we go look at the data that got posted, we can see that we did not post all of the data, we only posted the rows that had been edited. So you can see that a very small amount of data was actually posted to the server in order to synchronize the edits. So what we've shown here in this video is how, while you're working with disconnected, you can have hierarchical data, and the hierarchical data has relationships between various lists. So all of the orders for the customer are stored in the customer list, and then the order details for each order is also stored in the hierarchical JSON data that is used to populate the topmost parent list in the hierarchy. Thanks very much for watching. In the previous video we showed how you can configure a UX component with several lists showing hierarchical data. In this video we're going to show how the hierarchical data automatically takes care of inserting linking keys when you enter new data. So for example, let's take this customer here who's got several orders right now, and now let's go ahead and add a new order for this customer. So we'll go ahead here and hit new record, and I'm going to intentionally leave the customer ID field blank and also the order ID field, because the customer ID field will automatically be inherited from the fact that the parent record for this new order is this customer here called Alfkey, and the order ID will automatically be inserted when the record is submitted and the order increment field for the orders table is computed. So I'm going to just go here and fill in the employee ID. I'll say employee 4, and then the date I'll type in 1/1/2014, and then go ahead and hit the save button. So now I've entered a new order, and now I'm going to go here and start entering new items for this order. So again, I'm going to leave the order ID field blank, because the order ID field will automatically be filled in when this record here is committed and the order increment field here gets its value. So I'm going to just go here and type in, say, product number 3, price number. I'll just type in a price of 3, a quantity of 3, and a discount of 0, and then hit the save button. So here's a new order detail that has been entered, and I'm going to go there and add yet another one. So I'll go here and type in, say, product 4, price 4, quantity 4, and discount 0. So now basically we've entered a new order for this customer Alfkey. We've entered 2 new items for this new order, but we haven't yet synchronized the data. So now you can see here that this is marked as new record, new record, new record, and the parent record is marked here as dirty. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit the synchronize button to synchronize the data. And when I synchronize the data, you can see that the new order record gets added, and the linking field, the customer ID, got filled in automatically. The new order got its value because the order ID was an order increment field, and these 2 new records over here, the two new order detail records, got filled in with the order ID to which they were linked. So by using hierarchical data over here, we've automatically taken care of filling in the linking fields that link the new order details to their order and link the new order to the customer. Thanks very much for watching.